At the start of this year, I set some really big goals for myself this year, and I outlined my whole plan for 2025. Now, as it is the 1st of April today, okay, it's the end of the first quarter, and I wanted to take this opportunity to update you on how everything's going, how I'm getting on with the plan that I laid out in the, at the start. Some idea what I'm on about. 3 months is a fantastic amount of time for you to actually make meaningful progress towards whatever you're working towards, and also it's short enough to create some urgency so that you actually want to do the work, and because if you're just setting a year-long goal without any small milestones in between, it can be incredibly hard to keep yourself aligned and actually on the right track the whole time. So I wanted to give you an update onto how things are going. So first of all, physically, as I mentioned in that original video, I split my goals into 3 distinct categories. I've got physical goals, professional goals, and then personal goals as well. And physically, obviously we're 3 months in, and my big goals for the whole year were to run my first marathon, to add around 1 to 2 kilos of muscle, and also to do 230 training sessions. I'm still tallying off like I did last year because I found that incredibly effective, and actually already so far, I'll give you the results in a second, I'm already far surpassing what I did last year, so it really has worked incredibly well. But obviously we're 3 months in, and let's start with the running. So about just a week and a half ago, I did my first half marathon, and it was a painful experience to say the least, but really pleased with that. It was my first ever one. I finished the actual race. It was the Forest of Dean half marathon, very hilly. It was about 800 foot of elevation gain. It was pretty savage, very savage I should say. And I finished that with a time of 1 hour, 54 minutes and 6 seconds. Strava says I did my half marathon in 1 hour 53 and 22 seconds, so somewhere in that range. Okay, I think for consistency, and obviously because it's a quicker time, I'm going to take my half marathon PB as what Strava says, because if I go out and do it again, then it's just standard because I've got that on my Garmin watch. But either way, really pleased with that. Had a really good pace up until 11 miles, and then the last 2 miles I was absolutely exhausted, completely bonked out, and I do think I underfueled massively. And I think the reason I took basically 3 gels with me, and I planned on having them all, but then I made the mistake of, I had 2 of them, and then I made the mistake of getting down. I was at 11 miles. I was in the hurt locker, to be honest, at that point. And I thought, oh, I've only got about, potentially 20 minutes of running left. I'll be okay. I wasn't okay. Big lesson learned. Do not think you're going to be okay. And I was actually running, I was in zone 5 the whole way for 1 hour and 45 minutes. So, yeah, I don't think I've ever burnt off that much fuel before, so that was absolutely savage. So I just had to navigate some dog walkers, but yeah, I underfueled for the last couple of miles, and I was in zone 5 for 1 hour and 45 minutes, which I had not done at all in my training runs, so that was an experience to say the least. But underfueled, lesson learned. Need to take more fuel. If I'm working that hard, I think underestimated how much fuel I would need on board. Apologies for my lovely hairline. Very windy here, that's why I've got this, so hopefully the audio is not too windy. But yeah, so really pleased with that. Also a couple of weeks before that, I did a 10-mile mountain run called Beast of the Blacks. That was 2,700 feet of elevation gain over 10 miles. So there were some long hills. It was basically up and over the Black Mountains in Wales. Really nice. I did that in a group, so I didn't particularly push really hard until the last couple of miles when I did send it, because I was shooting off there was a lovely gradient on the downhill, so that was really fun. Did that in about 2.5 hours. So physically things are moving on well. I have been doing 2 runs a week, but now as I train towards my goals for the next quarter, obviously I've got Manby Coast, which is a marathon or around 25 miles over the Cornish coastline, and I really need to up my mileage here. That was something that I also found. The longest I've run for my half marathon was 10 miles, and I obviously going over that at any sort of pace was really quite hard. So I need to really up my mileage. I'm not going to be focused on pace, so the intensity will drop down a bit, thank God. I will primarily be focused on getting the mileage up, so I am upping my runs to 3 times a week. Got my first one today, so that's going to be a bit of a different experience. I've not done that volume of running before, but the good thing is that it's not actually at any sort of big intensity yet, because I'm doing it with a group of guys from the gym, and I think we've got to jump in water and everything like that. My expectations around it are not to be doing it at any sort of pace. It will be doing it just to kind of enjoy the whole experience. So upping my running to 3 times a week, which will be helpful. So yes, we'll be upping the running, and also a bit of data as well. My VO2 max actually went from 54 at the start of the year to 58 now, which puts me in the superior category. Garmin apparently tells me. I didn't feel superior in those last couple of miles of that half, but I'll take it. And it's nice to have some measurable data as well. I love looking at data. I find that really helps with motivation. So that's really cool to see. It's gone up basically 4 points on my VO2 max, which is fantastic. Muscle gain wise, because obviously I wanted to do all this running, improve my endurance, but I also didn't want to look like a weed as well. I'm sitting about 0.5 kilo heavier from the start of the year, which is, to be honest, about spot on. I don't want to be gaining too much weight. One, because that's going to affect my running, but also muscle gain is such a slow process. If I gain it too quickly, I'm going to have so much body fat that will be coming along with that, and that isn't useful. Like, my goals are more hybrid type, where I want to be getting fitter, but I also want to be building muscle and getting stronger as well. I'm going to try and get out the wind. So about 0.5 kilo heavier. I want it to be functional mass. I want it to be actual muscle that is going to give me shape, that's also going to be, usable, and improve my strength numbers and performance and things like that. So yeah, that's going well so far. Also, regarding my number of training sessions, I am total, actually, I'm not sure what I'm at, but I'm beating what I did last year. I'm going to have a little sit down because I'm out of breath. But I'm actually beating what I did last year. I did 17 sessions in January, I did 16 in February, did 18 last month. So I'm a tiny bit behind schedule for the 230 training sessions. But the reason I actually had like 5 rest days on the week of my half marathon, because I had trained really hard and I was so tired. So it's easily doable to actually up that. I just need to make sure, I think where I was actually nearing and really pushing the intensity, I was creating a lot of soreness, whereas this next block is a bit more low intensity with regards to running. So I should be able to get those sessions up really well. But all in all, physically, feeling really good actually. Training's going well, and I'm well on schedule. The only update, and hopefully this is useful to hear, obviously my original plan at the start of the year was to do the half marathon, the Manby Coast, and then actually do a road marathon towards the end of the year. Now, after the half, I'm rethinking that goal. And the reason why is I know I would be able to actually just go out and do a marathon, because I have not necessarily with an incredible time, but I know I could probably go and just do one now. Like, I am a fit person, but I don't like doing that. I don't like just ticking a box. I like doing things well. That's where I get the fulfillment from. So the reason I'm rethinking it is because I'm less than a year into actually doing more proper, structured, consistent running training, and is going from a half marathon and then building that up to a marathon within my first year of running, a massive jump in volume. And that was a rhetorical question, because yes, it is, and I know that. And actually, I think I would enjoy training more, and I'm worried about getting myself injured just by trying to get the volume done. So I'm swaying towards the idea right now, and I will stay open-minded with this, but I'm also being very real with myself, around not doing a road marathon at the end of the year. Obviously, I'm still doing Manvey Coast, which is basically a marathon on the Cornish coast, but at the end of the year, I'm actually rethinking that, and I might redo a half marathon, but find a road race there, find something a bit flatter so that I can beat the time that I've already done, and then the volume and training for that is going to be more appropriate. That's what I'm thinking anyway, because I don't want to get injured. Okay, I enjoy training, it's a massive part of my life, and I don't want to be just doing volume for the sake of it. Whilst I know I could, it doesn't mean that I should do it. So physically, that's where I'm at, rethinking that, but I will stay open-minded and kind of give you an update, I'm sure, on here at some point. But half kilo heavier, VO2 max is up, done my half marathon. I'm now up in the distance as I move into the next quarter, dropping the intensity of the running, and then I'm also building back in. I will have a team CrossFit competition in a couple of months' time. That's more for fun, so that'll be fine, but I will include a bit of CrossFit in there as well. But physically, that is an update, and we'll move on to professional now. So professionally, we've had some incredible life-changing results with clients, and I've actually written them all down here because I don't want to forget them with some of the details around what people have achieved. And I'm just going to talk through this, and you know, I really want you to listen to this. Like, these are absolutely life-changing results. So I'm just going to read them out, and it's really important for me to document these because it's so easy. I'm doing it day to day, like every single day, Monday to Friday, and it's easy for me to overlook them. So I'm creating space to celebrate these because they're absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm in a giant open field. It's absolutely huge. And they've decided to walk right behind me. Interesting. But first of all, just one example, I've got John. John is 20 kilos down in total. And he started his own journey, like properly with his fat loss goals at the start of last year. And he had already lost 10 kilos before he joined me around, I think it was around October time last year. And since then, he's lost 10 kilos whilst working with myself since joining Lead from the Front, which is absolutely incredible. He's got more time with his wife, he's less stressed, he's finally enjoying seeing pictures of himself. That was a huge thing. He recently did a gym CrossFit competition, and previously something he's done is not enjoy seeing the photos of himself, and he sent me a message saying, look, obviously there's still work to do. Of course there is, there's always work to do. But he was like, this is the first time that I've actually enjoyed and was liked what I saw in pictures, which is amazing. So John, incredible work, mate. More time with the wife, he's less stressed. All of that is absolutely incredible. He's also thrown old clothes away, which is amazing, as he's really committing to this new identity. So John, that is absolutely incredible, mate. Massive well done. And that's one example. We've also had Gareth. Gareth is 13 kilograms down since working with me over the past sort of, this has been 8 months of work now. And his colleagues and friends are commenting on how incredible he looks. He's lost 5 inches off of his waist, 5 inches, and also 2 minutes off his 2K run. He's actually in the army and needs to have a specific fitness test, and he's knocked 2 minutes off his 2K run. Which is absolutely incredible. And the amazing thing about Gareth, okay, he has now moved on to his next phase beyond fat loss, beyond losing weight. And I asked him the other day on one of our coaching calls, I was like, did you ever think you'd get to that point where you weren't saying to yourself, oh, I need to lose weight? And he's actually gone past that, which is absolutely unbelievable, and it's like well, it is believable because it's happened, but it's an amazing milestone because I think so many people, and so many people that I work with, have just been stuck in, they've always had to be losing weight, they've always had to be losing fat, and because they're unsuccessful with it in restrictive approaches and everything like that, they stay stuck in that forever. Their goal is always fat loss, and therefore it just gets incredibly tiring. So Gareth, incredible work, mate, on actually getting to that point, so that you've actually started moving into a different phase. You have a different focus now. You're actually focused, and what we're focused on now is maintaining this new body fat level. You know, he's lost 30 pounds. He's lost 30 pounds of weight and body fat, which is incredible. And his next phase is around muscle building and performance, but also maintaining this new body weight and making that his new norm. He's now focused on, building muscle, improving his fitness and performance. And this is a massive thing, guys, like a little teaching point. The brain takes twice as long to catch up as physical change. Okay, so if you have achieved a 3-month, say, transformation, you can achieve amazing physical transformation results within 3 months. But you will not necessarily have the skills to sustain that. That is the big difference, and this is what we're focused on with Gareth right now, is really making sure that this is a change that stays. Okay, we want it to stay. So Gareth, incredible work. That's another example. We've also got Kate. Kate is running her first marathon next week. Okay, she's actually doing the Paris Marathon, which is incredible. And she's a teacher, she's managing stress more effectively. She's bought a new flat, which is awesome. And she's finally feeling a bit more under control. I have quite a few teacher clients, and you know, there's a big theme around stress and overwhelm, and she's finally starting to get a grip on it. There's still some work to do, but her running performance has improved massively. She's got more of an understanding around, you know, emotional eating, like what's actually going on there. And, you know, I'm really excited to see her smash this marathon and then go into the next phase of work for her. We've also got Hannah. Hannah is running her first marathon. Okay, she's running the London Marathon. And Hannah, if we rewind 12 months ago, Hannah was actually a previous client. She worked with me inside the program for around 9 months off the top of my head. And she left because, and that was mainly around losing weight. She had a great result there. She left because she thought, actually, I'm gonna, you know, go on my own for a bit. But then she reinvented her goals and obviously entered the London Marathon, got a place, and then rejoined to get my support and actually going and doing that. And she's absolutely smashing it. Like, she's gone from not training consistently to always focusing on weight loss to now she's going to be running her first marathon. 12 months ago, she was not running, like, at all, you know, so that is absolutely incredible, Hannah. Yeah, there's quite a few runners within my client group at the moment. And then just one more example, I've actually got Tiff. Now, Tiff, we've only worked together a very short period of time, around 8 weeks so far, and she's actually stopping due to change in personal circumstances very soon, which was kind of more sudden and unexpected. But even then, she had lost 4 stone over the past 2 years, okay, and had used the help of GLP-1 medication, i.e. like the weight loss jabs. Mounjaro was the one she was using. And the reason she joined me was because she knew, okay, yes, it's been helpful up until this point, but actually I want to know how to sustain this, how to do it moving forwards, so that I don't have to rely on that. Because the thing is with that is that it is an appetite suppressant. And I think it's really bad, actually, the lack of understanding and empathy that people have around thinking people are cheating by using these sorts of medications. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because if people have tried so many things before and it's not worked, then actually, and losing weight would improve their health, then why wouldn't you do it? But you just have to have an understanding, and I've had a few people with me who've worked with me, have been taking the medication, but they know that they want to be able to not take the medication. So the things we've done around actually controlling appetite by eating more regularly, what foods she's eating, all of that, adding in some proper strength training. All of that, she's lost over 10 pounds over the past 8 weeks, and she's eating more regularly, she's got more energy, she runs her own business, she's setting more clearer boundaries with clients around when she wants to work, when she doesn't, and she's absolutely smashing it. So Tiff, incredible work, and that's just one example. There's a few examples there around like how varied my clients are. But the key thing that we focus on is like looking at the person as a whole, not just training and nutrition in isolation, because if we don't have an understanding of all the other things that are going on in life, we're never going to be able to find realistic longer term solutions. And that is where I really differ, because I focus on, yes, you can get quick results, but how are you going to transition that into sustaining that? How can you get your shit together? How can you stay in shape for life, not just the short term? So those are a few examples of clients. There are far more. There's some other incredible ones as well, but I don't want this video to go on forever by talking through every single person. So those are a few of my notable mentions just off the top of my head. Also, another big goal for me was around giving more value, creating more free resources to give to people so that I can spread my impact to more than just my active client base. And I feel I've done really well at that. I've made 9 YouTube videos. This will be the 10th YouTube video. I've done 4 podcast episodes, and I've given out over 70 free in-depth trainings that I have created and delivered to clients, and actually given those out to people who aren't clients. And I feel really good about that, because there's so much value in the stuff like that I'm helping people with. Like, it's completely transforming their life, so why wouldn't I share that? And full transparency, like, I would love some of those people to work with me properly. Like, that is, I'm being very transparent. God, it's so bloody windy. Being very transparent here around my intentions, because people don't need, I'm going to walk the other way because the wind's doing my head in. People do not need more information. People do not need more advice. They need real-time coaching and context. Okay, that is the thing that is missing. There is so much information out there nowadays. Like, you can find whatever information you need, but what you're missing is real-time coaching and context of how does this apply to me in line with my highest priorities and my highest values. So full transparency, that is the best way I can help. So if you're watching this video and you have got one of those resources and you do have a genuine challenge that you would really love to solve, then working with me one-to-one is going to be the best way to do it. Like, that is just a fact, because I can help you understand the context of what's going on and help you understand how to manage this for the rest of your life. But feeling really good about that. And obviously a big thing, like I said, was more free value, giving infrastructure, building infrastructure for my business. And I've done that really well, because I have social media content that is fairly short and free. I've got longer form content like this, like YouTube's, podcasts, so on and so forth. I've got more in-depth free trainings that people can, grab, and you can grab them at the link in the description of this video. And then I've got a multi-tiered program. I have some clients that pay me less, that have a little bit less done with you. But then I also have other tiers as well, all the way up to people who have weekly calls. This is mainly with other business owners, people who really need and want some detailed support, and we have weekly calls and really get into the weeds of things. So it's all dependent and led by the client as to how much support they want and need. But it's a whole ecosystem of free stuff all the way up to, highly paid stuff and working with me on a more intimate one-to-one basis. And it's a slow burn. I'm not expecting overnight results, but I feel really good around what I've created and the sequential steps that people can take to actually get my support in a more in-depth basis. Lastly, personally, Okay, last but not least, personally, obviously everything else I'm doing physically and professionally underpins how I'm doing personally. And in general, personally, fantastic. The previous challenges that I've had, like full transparency, I've spoken about this a lot, is I used to feel incredibly anxious due to a high amount of pressure I was putting on myself within business to show up for everyone else, to show up for clients, and that resulted in like a lack of self-care for myself, and I was burning myself out. I wasn't resting enough. I didn't have clear enough boundaries, and I just had unrealistic expectations, which resulted in me feeling anxious a hell of a lot and having panic attacks. Haven't had any of those or felt anxious for about 3 years, which is amazing. Really, really amazing, because when I think back to, you know, how I felt at the time, it was crippling. It was really horrible because it seemed so random, even though now I know it wasn't random after doing the work, and I'm more aware of what it was that was creating, you know, the anxiety and everything like that. Haven't had that in about 3 years, so I'm buzzing with that. Generally, day to day, I feel very calm. I feel very content, feel very collected, which is great. I've actually, full transparency, had a newer challenge fairly recently of I've worked incredibly hard to get my business to the point that it's at, and I've created a bit more time for myself. Obviously, I'm still working. Like I'm not lazy. I don't just sit and do nothing, but things are running so much better. I do actually have a lot more time for myself. And also, like after doing like a big goal, like a half marathon or something, it's very easy to just kind of feel a bit flat and then be like, oh, like what's next? Because if I really rewind, say 3 to 5 years ago, I was literally dreaming of being in the position that I'm in now, like absolutely dreaming of it. That was the dream outcome. And now I'm here. It's like, and where that was, you know, having a great client base, people I love working with, having time freedom where I'm not busy all the time. I can spend time doing what I want, feeling fit, not feeling anxious. I've got all of that, which is amazing. And I'm now at this position where, oh, okay, what do I do now? What's the next goal for me? And obviously I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing at the moment because I do enjoy it, but I'm also looking at, I think I need to find where I've created this time. I need to add in like more fun stuff. Like I need to add in more, you know, going to play tennis or going to play paddle, going surfing like midweek and doing all of those things because I can do it. Obviously not at the expense of my work or the service or client results. Not at the expense of that, but I think because I have the time, it's very easy to just, you know, Parkinson's law, you will fill the time available with the work you have. So actually, if I make some less time available by planning in a bit more fun stuff, hobbies and things like that, to make sure that I'm really getting fulfillment, then I think that's going to be really useful, and that's just going to boost my productivity and client results and energy and everything like that. So that's a newer challenge I've had fairly recently. But on the whole, moving really well. I'm clear on, actually I'm going to add in more of that stuff and try and, you know, jam a bit more stuff into my time, which is great, while still maintaining great client results and relationships. And lastly, I'm getting married in August. So me and Connie have been wedding planning. It's actually going pretty well, but it is not like the movies. They make it look so fun on the movies, but it's a big job, man. It's a big job, but everything's moving well there. I'm very excited for it. It's going to be epic. We're actually getting married on the beach in Cornwall, so I'm buzzing for that. Hopefully it'll be a nice day, but either way, it'll be lovely right by the sea. And that is the update so far. That is the update. So with 3 months, that a lot has happened in 3 months. And the big takeaway I'd like you to take from this is to not underestimate the progress you can make within 3 months. you can make massive progress, and this is just a nice little checkpoint. And I would really take from it, I hope you took some value from it. There's no particular coaching in there. Well, there's a few things, but that's more of where I'm at, what's going on. I want to show you the stuff behind the scenes that's going on. And if you haven't already, it's the 1st of April today, go and take a second to reflect on these 3 things. Where are you winning at the moment? Where is going really well? Where are you struggling? Where do you feel you're falling short a little bit? And then lastly, what wants to be or what needs to be your focus now as you move in to quarter 2 of 2025? I would really suggest going to reflect on that. I hope you found this video useful. And if you did, always love a comment, but also there is a free 3-part mini-series at the bottom. Link is in the description of this video. www.leadfromthefront.co.uk. Grab that, and that'll be your best place. It's the first 3 things you need to do to start on to get your shit together and stay in shape for life. It includes a weekly planning, how to do that effectively, your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and also some self-reflection. How can you do that so that all of these habits and all this change you're trying to create in yourself actually sticks for the long term? Because if it doesn't, what's the point? So I hope you found this useful. See you in the next one.